You want me to start over? No, okay.
Uh,
So we'll begin with roll call
Chair Renison,
here.
Vice Chair Villa,
Here.
Commissioner McCormick, Commissioner Moreno, Commissioner Porter,
Present.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
And Commissioner Zamora.
Present.
So,
Okay, next is secretary's report.
yes, so the agenda was posted on Friday, September 5th at 5:06 p.m.
Okay. Moving on to approval of this agenda.
I move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes. Approval of minutes from the August 12th regular meeting. Well, he's not present, so I can't.
I can only move to approve on me.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Stephen? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public comment, the item's not on the agenda.
We have no public speakers this time.
Old business, presentation from Gilroy Community Development Department regarding public art conditions on development projects.
Yes, Commissioners, we are joined here by Michael.
Please sit down.
Thank you, guys. From our community development department, who's going to be presenting to the fault to the commissioner's request to get input and information about the permitting process and when public art is conditioned, not conditioned. So, we'll take it over.
All right, thank you, Bryce, and good evening. I'm Michael Sette. I'm the planning manager here with the city of Gilroy. And so the goal this evening is to have a discussion on when and how public art conditions are placed on development projects. That's kind of my understanding. And rather than giving you a PowerPoint presentation, I just kind of want to share with you what my findings have been and how public art and public art funding is typically implemented in cities in general. Followed by my findings of when public art or an in lieu fee is required for certain development projects here in Gilroy. So for most cities, and you may know this already, cities, they'll adopt what they call a public art ordinance. And through that public art ordinance, they'll say, all right, projects of certain size, certain caliber will trigger that ordinance. And then that ordinance will establish a fee. Typically, it's a calculator. In my experience, it's typically based on development building costs between 0.5% to up to 1% of the building valuation of how much it costs to develop a project. So, for example, if a developer wants to build 20 units and the city has a public arts ordinance that says, all right, if you're building 10 units, you have to pay public art. They're doing 20, so they hit that trigger. Then they would need to either provide public art in that cost, that value, or pay an in lieu fee. So again, for that, using an example, just for basic numbers, let's say they're building 20 units, it's going to cost $1 million to build. There's a 1% public art fee. So they technically have to, I think that's $10,000. They would either tell the city we're going to build an art piece worth $10,000 that the Arts and Culture Commission would review, or we're just going to pay that fee. Okay. Gilroy does not have that. That's kind of why I don't. Yeah. Well, prior cities do. That experience me and Sharon have. Yeah, but I
You know what my next question is going to be.
Yeah. Well, let me share with you what Gilroy does have, and you know we all know how important public art is. A lot of housing policy has changed, but what Gilroy does have back in 2021, all cities in California had to create what they call objective design standards. Objective design standards are these criteria that if a developer wants to build in a city and they meet these standards, it really makes it difficult, extremely difficult for the city to say no. So there's no subjectivity. It gives the developer some certainty. So what Gilroy did in 2021 is they put that cap on. If a project is over 20 units, you have to pay public art, or you have to provide a public art amenity. And the best example I can kind of share with you, I mean, 2021 was not too long ago. There's a Royal Way project we have with 45 townhomes. They are required to do a public art amenity, which would go through arts and culture. I think Aaron may have reached out to you in the future of with the art piece that they do have, but that's what Gilroy has.
Mhm.
So Sharon and I were talking about this, and there are some art pieces out here that developers have placed, from my understanding.
Yes.
And so, you know, if I was you, Commissioner, I won't say Commissioner Rubin, but Commissioner Dario, Bill, I'd be like, well, what about those pieces? Previously, this is kind of my thought, and I'm feeling pretty good about this. The majority of developments happening in Gilroy, they were developed using what they call a planned unit development. A planned unit development doesn't meet the zoning code. It gives it a little flexibility. So, for example, if you wanted to do, and then this is where it gets a little complicated. If you wanted to develop and the zoning code says, all right, you need to have one house for, you could have one house for every 3,000 square foot lot. A developer would come in and say like, well, I put a planned unit development on there because I want to build one house for every 2,500 square feet, so I can kind of get more houses, but not too many more. So the city says, yeah, you can typically do that, but what incentive is the city going to get out of that? Therefore, that's when developers come in and say, well, you know, I can add public art, you know, some say affordable housing, yeah, a park, I love that, just an open space, some type of amenity.
Mhm.
So I haven't been able to, I've looked in past projects, I've looked to try to find out if that was, I've noticed a lot of the developments had PUDs on them, and hence they had the PUDs. Ironically, they have public art on it, but you know, just, that's a typical use. The fact that the city doesn't have that public art ordinance does really put us in a bind, though, and that's why I don't have a planning presentation to show you on why developers probably don't pay for the public art unless they go over that. You know, now unless they go over the 20 units, then they'll be required. The struggle we have, and I'll be ready for questions, is okay, we require public art amenity, but how much is that public art amenity going to be worth, right? We don't have
A calculation.
yes.
Percentage, that was my question.
There's not percentage I can find in any of the zoning code that.
And to what does the money go into? Just the city in general?
No.
I know, that's
It
what I'm
goes
saying,
to-
no, I mean literally, because we don't have access to that.
Well,
The in lieu fees have come here.
So the fees go into the public art fund, so it's the one paying for like the
Got it.
Gilroy banner.
Mhm.
That's where the funds are, so there's funds in there that are in new fees for that, and there's
It's like
also
a project
funds that are
last year.
reserved in there for maintenance, of like murals. A couple other like the bench plaque program, so those funds are in that, it's called a trust or it's a trust fund. Right, better term, not
Yeah.
the personal trust fund kind of style, but for governmental account purposes.
So if there isn't a percentage that is placed in terms of how much the public art has to be worth, then how do we determine fees?
well, so we found out we do have a project that is required to pay public art. Was probably going to be negotiation. Yeah, at this moment, you know, but fortunately you have people like Sharon and I, you know, that know how to negotiate. And a lot of developers in the Bay Area, they know the numbers too. I mean, what I'm sharing with you, the 0.5,
Yeah,
the
they're used to
2%,
that.
they're aware, you know, many developers that they want to be seen as an ally,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So that there may not be much pushback. But right now there isn't a number other than kind of what I can kind of negotiate when it does come time. So there's a project and I think it's this Royal Way project that I'll be speaking with the developer about that condition.
Mhm.
Question for you guys. Well, once the project's entitled, how do we know we're gonna get the public art? Well, once the project's entitled, we give them a list of conditions. One of those conditions are like, you need to provide public art. So our project planner has instructed that developer. I mean, there's hundreds of conditions, but that one condition, they need to get approval by the planning manager to meet that condition. So I will be eventually meeting with the developer to talk about public art that time. Once we come to that agreement for the price, it doesn't take any of the authority away from you. They're gonna come in.
They have to still, they still
Yeah.
come in and present,
Yeah.
and then we send it to council.
Yeah,
for
so
approval,
they'll
right?
present as long as they're doing an actual piece of art, the painting those fees.
Yeah, we don't-
Right.
If there is a public art, yes,
Yeah.
then I just want to make sure that.
Yeah.
No, no, that's a great question. And knowing that there's not,
Do we still get knowledge that there are in lieu fees? I think we were notified,
Yeah, you'd be
just
notified.
as like a
There just really hasn't
staff
been
notice or
since-
something.
Right,
Since I've been.
Last
after
yeah,
the
exactly.
commission,
I was
We
gonna
didn't
say,
get any,
It's been a while.
yeah, it's been a while.
Maybe it's been a really long time and I'm thinking it was only last year.
Received is bench plat fees.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about that when the description is approved by
Yeah.
the commission, but so far we have not had any in lieu fees.
Okay.
We've actually had two designs that have come to the commission for approval. One, we had quorum, one we didn't have quorum. But that's it so far, so but no in lieu fees. This is fine.
yeah.
During the time I've been here either, so last 3 years.
Yeah,
it's been a
gosh,
while.
maybe it was a long time ago.
And I know,
I think he wants to get
Coming
there.
in October. That I know at some point.
Okay, I think that's the one that was being alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
So-
yeah,
but I
so,
think that's coming in for the design, so I think it's also gonna be art. That's
Yeah.
design, so-
right, and then the design, I mean, because we have there's no calculator, hopefully it'll be a design well above 1, 2, 3% of the building, the building valuation fee. That's just good for you to know.
Yeah.
That's how the majority of, if not all, public art fees are established. It could be other mechanisms, but building valuations, because there's a nexus, right?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
something that seems to be legally binding.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's a development that's on, was that Rail Circle and Sixth Street? Like over there by the Costco. That one's not home, so it's,
Storage.
but that one is a storage facility, but that one is gonna have public art. Is that also, how does it work when it's not like homes or like, dwelling units or whatever, like? Is it like just up to them? Is it, if it's commercial, is there still these kind of conditions or only when it's like housing?
It's only when
100%.
it's, and what I've found is, it's mixed use or multifamily residential.
Oh, okay,
So a commercial project would not be required.
got it. Okay, so it seems like then they're doing it out of, because they just want.
Yeah, I mean,
Partners.
yeah.
That's good. I mean, I'm just wondering. Yeah.
No, that's a great, because people are like, well, 'cause with commercial people don't, I tell this to everyone, I've been doing planning a lot of years. I said, this is the one, in the planning world, this is the one time you can do everything right, pay your money, and the city can legally still say no. Well, technically, you can't for certain projects.
Yeah.
And so most savvy developers, there's findings that we don't want to say no, we want to say yes, it's good for the community. But there's some developers that really want to be good to the community.
Yeah.
They say this is opportunity for a mural, or they want to enhance their project. They respect art.
Mhm.
So typically it's not a hard push, but yeah, that one's an example. I don't know too much about it. Other
Oh, it's
than-
very artistic, it's very orange.
Oh, okay.
It's the development part of it, I
Yeah, right now, it's just, yeah, they haven't plastered.
So it means we won't run into it.
Okay, yeah, there we go. It is, yeah, they got a double whammy there, But if I can answer any other questions,
How do we get one of these public art ordinances? Was the first thing that came to my mind. What does it take to, is it just rallying?
So
Meeting,
the commission has the option if it's something it wants to recommend to council and staff, and similar to
Right.
something later on the agenda that put
Right.
together a recommendation from the commission to take on that process. And it's up to council to decide if that's something they want to take up. That's probably the for the commission, that's the avenue that we want to take. But again, it's one of those things that we'll evaluate then that recommendation with staff and because there's more involvement in
Mhm.
once we start doing that than just simply the art.
Yeah, there's like
Ideation.
legal
Oh,
parts,
there's
yeah.
a lot of legal review that we have to do.
yeah.
But that's how you get started that process.
And there's a lot of, when it comes to, we're reviewing impact fees ourselves, there's we hear daily developers feel like, God, there's one fees on top of the other. So the council, they're, along with art fees, there's affordable housing fees and, but, you can kind of go through your commission and advocate for art if you like, be placed on these development projects.
But if it's happening already at a certain level. So it would be mostly just targeting below 20 units, right? Because once it hits the 20 unit threshold, it already has to have something.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, and so
So, it would be-
commercial.
That percentage.
oh,
commercial
would,
And
oh, does that normally in other cities, it was the public art ordinance would be for commercial as well? In
yeah,
other cities?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it could, yes, or because other cities, they'll have a FAR cap, you know, if it's X number of square feet.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, that's where, you know, you commission come in and consider like what projects do we think would trigger the need for public art?
Yeah.
You know, um,
Well, I think that the in lieu fees are also important because if they don't have the ability or the desire to do it, then it helps for funding somewhere within the city where it might make sense to have public art, like, you know, in the middle of where the library is, that little lawn area, whatever. So different spaces that we could utilize those fees if some of these developers didn't want to.
correct, yeah, that there's some developers that are really proud of their public art and they kind of want to showcase their development. They happen to have a good artist they really like. There's other developers who are like, you know, just fee me out.
Yeah.
You guys are the experts. Just give you the money, so it all depends.
Okay.
There was talk about putting together a binder of resources and guidelines for public art for developers. Are there any sort of requirements or, you know, general standards you could think of that are, you know, large questions that come up often that we might kind of get the ball rolling on?
Me, not personally. I can share with you if you're just looking for, if you're willing to do a little research. I can share with you, Bryce. I know specifically a former city I used to work in. They updated their public art policy. So they hired a public art specialist, and they did a community they did some community meetings. They said they found a vision statement. I was pretty impressed because it was my
Okay.
former city.
A different state?
No, different city.
Oh, different.
Milpitas, and I can.
Oh, sure, no, Peters.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of their psychology.
And what I could share with you, Bryce, actually, after we're done, I'll go find it. They were so proud of this. The consultant, they kind of put it on their website
Nice.
on the work they did. I can
Great.
share that with you if you want to share with the
Great,
commission.
great.
But yeah, outside of that, I can't think of
Good.
anything else. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a starting place.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, because that was one thing that I personally from as a community arts leader outside of this capacity, I've been taking an interest and also like understanding the value of like the customer service value of a city providing a developer a list of artists from local artists from the city, maybe different suggestions or like ways to work and collaborate with artists, and what does it mean to collaborate with artists if you haven't done these projects before?
And knowing what we also already have, like we talked about having an existing art and where it's located. Because that way there's not so much duplication of certain things, elements or whatever, so. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's kind of been the ask is, you know, because for the Monterey home, the Monterey family home on Monterey and that development, they reached out to kind of ask for like some support, and I just raised my hand to say, if these are some artists that I could find for you that do the kind of work that you're looking for. Because they had a list of a lot of artists, but all outside of Gilroy. So I wanted to kind of push them to hire a local, and they were able to work with one. And so now there's going to be that'll be what's coming in October. So like, because it was more of like just me, because I want to make sure that we have like a sustainable creative economy for our artists. Like, so my thought is like, if there's some type of way we can formalize a little bit of like if you're new to Gilroy or you're new to this area and you want to work with a local artist, here are some of the artists that That we have essentially kind of like City of San Jose, they have essentially like a list that artists can apply to. And once they apply and they get vetted for a certain level of experience or of a certain kind of medium, then they're like officially approved for like a list of like 5 years. Where now like it's easy for developers to say, okay, I just need a muralist. Okay, give me the list of muralists. Great, bam, here you go. I choose this one because I like their style, and they're already, it's not like we don't have to do another call for artists like every year. So that's how the city of San Jose does it. I wasn't sure if that was like of interest, or you've seen developers like take that into consideration, or just kind of just be like, well, I don't know what to do here, so here's a fee.
I'll share with you my experience. That's a little slippery of a slope. Remember, so when you're developing a project, there's a million. I won't say million, but there's at least 10 to 20 different consultants to develop a project.
Yeah.
And I'll be darned if I'm the planning staff and saying, hey, why don't you look at this person? Because to the 10 other people that didn't get picked are like, there's a favoritism at. But I think the perspective you're sharing, being on the Arts Commission, that's where us as planners, we can't speak on behalf of the community. We want you to speak on behalf of the community. So
Yeah.
so when developers do come in and say like, oh, who should I start with? Why don't you start with the Arts and Culture Commission?
Mhm.
So I understand the efficiency and the intent of what you're sharing.
Well, that's maybe something we as a commission could just have. And
Yes.
the process would be directing them to arts and culture for some direction.
Yeah.
And then we can provide that information at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
There's also have a lot of their own artists that they may be comfortable with. Is that true? Or do they typically kind of individually contract out depending on the project?
Yeah, it's case by case. The planning consultants I do work with, they have their favorites, and it's not just the art itself. Unfortunately, it's probably the administration, the bookkeeping, the changes associated with it. Maybe just
Convenience.
the working relationship, the convenience factor, the quality of the art after it's done.
Yeah.
There's not many pieces I've witnessed that I've been like, oh, like most of the when it comes from a bigger developer, I'm like, that's pretty impressive, but I think staff recognizes that, Gilroy is small town community, local artists getting their name out would be a benefit. So, yeah, we'll probably just continue to, that's why we're so fortunate to have you guys
Yeah.
volunteering your time.
So it's more of a case by case. If they need us, they can come. Anyway, but maybe early on, that is a part that they can.
So the registry, so once we kind of more firm up how the commission is going to recommend the use of a registry of local
Mhm.
artists, we have to get the city attorney to approve that
Yeah.
it doesn't create a risk of, like favoritism, or
Yeah.
we're recommending this in case something doesn't happen, like what's one that ours, the city recommended, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Right.
So we just have to make sure that the language is strong, the city attorney feels comfortable, they can defend whatever registry, it is. And if they're okay with that, then we can kind of proceed. But yeah, that is something that would be, if approved on the commission side, not on the planning side,
Mhm.
and that will go to distinction.
Right.
We've had a few good presentations. And then, displayed it, I mean, and, oh, that's very neat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's been a while. Because
Okay.
we're public art and not the arts and culture, it was on our committees.
It was more of it.
Yeah,
It was great, and they gave great presentations.
no,
That's-
that is good to hear. The
There's a while back, we've had a little.
the housing market's changed, you guys. There's the state has really stepped in and take away the local controls. And the developer with their dollar has had to kind of shed it more towards maybe affordable projects. And
Yeah.
we all have pro formas, and so but nonetheless, if it's over 20 units, it's coming to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Affordable
that's
projects
good.
deserve beautiful art.
They sure do.
Well, there's a lot going on out there by that wonderful property out there, 45 one place and 55 another, and. Yep, so they'll be coming to us.
They will be, or they'll be sending you a fee, so.
Yeah.
We can figure out how much that's gonna be. One or the other. Thank you guys for your time. It's good meeting you all.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
I mean, the city something has it, so it's not, this isn't like a new, this isn't like a new thing, like, you have to apply to be part of the registry and then that's how it works.
Yeah, we just wanna, we'll just determine how they,
Yeah.
how they
Set up,
do
how
it,
it's set
how
up.
they set it up. And another thing
Right.
too is that. If it's remember that we're charter city, likewise they're charter city, and their charters are gonna be different than ours.
Yeah.
And so we just have to make sure that whatever protections are in place.
Yeah.
That allow them to kind of freely do that, that we can adopt similar ones,
Mhm.
but again, it all starts with that recommendation.
Yeah.
To pursue this.
Pursue this, because once we engage to turn that's money out the door, so we'll have to actually craft. If it's the commission's will, a recommendation to pursue the project and request support from the state attorney's office. And other functions of the city to provide support, but it's not too much.
And then we just
Everything's
recommend
doable.
it
We
to
just
the
have to
city
make sure we-
council. 'Cause they're
Do the
supposed
right
to sit and
steps,
make a
yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, that was cool to hear, since we never knew the process, so this is good. Okay, 7.2 recommendation, requesting authority to sell merchandise for fundraising purposes.
Yes, commissioners, this was a vote to agenda item request, in the discussion, well, actually, take it back. This was in the fundraising discussion that we had the last meeting. And request to add, a formal recommendation to the council and city administrator regarding the ability to sell merchandise. So, Commissioner Moore put together, the recommendation, and up to this point, well, she wasn't aware of it, I just realized, sorry, I had an opportunity to talk about the recommendation letter.
Sure.
Sorry.
Do it, recommend.
So, actually, there were, two recommendations that, we worked on, and, this first one had to do with, an idea that we discussed in our last meeting, where, we were brainstorming some possible ways to first just seed money to even run the kind of large scale fundraiser that we're looking to throw in order to fund some of the ideas that we had in our work plan over the next couple of years. So we last meeting had looked at our current available funds and, you know, recognized to be very dire need to at least begin having maybe some smaller events. And as we began brainstorming, we discussed, well, you know, what would happen if we were to try to capitalize on these smaller events by selling merchandise, for example, some of the reprints that you know, of the artists that we own rights to through For the Love of Gilroy, or swag that says Gilroy Arts. And so, in order to actually have this idea come to fruition, in order to even get the ball rolling, you know, here is a recommendation that I drew up based on the commission's request to essentially ask council for permission to pursue this. And in this recommendation are essentially, you know, what we want to do, how we might do it, and what, you know, we would use these funds for. And so I use some examples of programs that we, you know, currently run, like For the Love of Gilroy. If we want to continue having this be an annual event, if we ever want to scale this event, you know, we're going to need to have more funds. If we want to have a fundraising gala, we're going to need to raise funds in
Funds
order
to
to
actually put it on.
put it up. In addition, if we want to have our multicultural community days where we have different dance groups come and give performances and teach classes and give talks and show examples of costumes and props, cultures. Again, all this will take funds. And so, you know, put forth in this recommendation are just some examples of, you know, how we would fill in funding gaps, how we might sell, which would be at, you know, some of our events like For the Love of Gilroy or online. And examples of, you know, specific merchandise that we might sell. And I kind of kept it I kept it fairly broad because
Mhm.
we hadn't discussed specific examples beyond really talking about reprints and swag in our last meeting. So, you know, I opened this up to commission to review, and if you wanted to add anything or amend anything, you know, we're not gonna get into specifics per se in the recommendation. But, you know, if there were anything that stood out that's glaringly missing, I would definitely, you know, love to have your feedback. And the last thing that I'll say is that tried to cap off the recommendation with just a general, you know, call to action about the you know, what public art can do for the city, what arts programming can do for the city, and how this, you know, offers us a chance to really, you know, vitalize the local economy, you know, through this merchandise to show pride in the Gilroy arts community, folks wearing the merchandise, and, you know, to continue our public arts offerings and growing in number and scale.
I like it. I read it.
One staff edit, sorry.
Yeah, please.
So third paragraph,
Mhm.
last line, for Love Gilroy contest art, whereas artwork, for which, that commission, you could change that to the city.
Yeah.
I
saw that too.
Okay.
All right,
I was like, oh.
That's very clarifying, but that's from the staff perspective,
Yeah.
that's totally like.
Yes,
Cool.
and is it city capital, as I know that?
I see.
Is there any reason to think that anyone on the council would have any like concern for this?
I'm not even gonna.
Yeah.
So there's.
Who knows? Yeah.
The one thing I was wondering is if we would have to have a listing of like what the designs are that we're going to be putting on t-shirts, that type of thing. That's the only thing I think they'll want approval on,
Yeah.
or if it falls within certain guidelines like of the art standards that we had for the banner thing too, but
Yeah, really, so the
that was the only
reason
thing I was
I've
thinking.
Mhm.
gave you a recommendation because in short, I don't.
Okay.
Right, so new commissioners struck out, this is definitely a novel new concept.
Mhm.
So I honestly don't know where council's done this, so.
Love
It could
that.
be
Yeah,
something
so
that
I wish
we
I had.
were-
No.
If they approve the idea,
Then we could say we
Then
will
there's
present to
iteration,
you the.
exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
So, and if you
For
remember
approval
the
before we
process that would
sign
take
it.
place, so once the recommendation is up to the council would take that on, they'd have to do a fair memo, talk
Right.
about what they're wanting to bring to council. Then, once council confirms that they do wanna hear the item, at that point, then there's a staff report that's generated staff level, so that's where we probably start talking about, well, here's all the policies and procedures. Kind of, it will kind of flush it out a little bit as far as the administrative side of.
Yeah, is there any
Yes.
other commission that sells things? Yeah, it's all giveaways, right?
Yeah, so
We already-
there's only two commissions at this point that are authorized to do any fundraising. That's the Arts and Culture Commission and the Parks and Rec Commission.
But for resale, I just didn't know how that works. If,
Yeah, so it'd still be a fundraising function. So there shouldn't be any of the other commissions selling things.
okay,
Um,
but us as a like us being able to resell something to the general public, I didn't know as a city commission if that is even a doable thing. Like, do we have a seller's permit to be able to sell?
Well, I think
Well,
that
like-
was-
yeah, so that was one of the
Yeah.
conversations that was had, and that was what the records original was, but really it's. The recommendation, again, correct me if I'm recapping it
We
correctly,
could do it.
is that the seller's permit is one component of this larger thing, so the first. thing is
Yeah.
to Find out, is council even
Be
willing to
willing to do it.
consider.
Okay.
Getting to the point of selling.
Yeah.
Selling, but.
And if there is a way around that we would buy it at whatever price, then we sell it as a donation. So you're buying this as a donation. That's a way around that, right? Like if
I
the,
don't know.
the person, I think
Uh,
so.
we'd have to just move it.
We'd have
Honestly,
to
we'd-
look in-
We'd probably end up getting if.
A seller's permit?
So
Seller's
anyway,
permit, yeah.
which is not an issue, the key thing is the policy.
Yeah.
Is council interested in having.
And even pursuing that, okay.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's larger cities definitely you see that with like, you know. New York and. St.
Oh, yeah,
Louis,
yeah.
Others, right, that they have that thing, but they also it may not be the city itself as such,
Mhm.
Mhm.
so.
Right.
if we're gonna, the city, if council takes this up, there's gonna have to be a lot of legal research to make sure that we,
Yeah.
whatever we set up,
Yeah.
we're protected, so.
The-
You know, I feel bad again, being the kind of the.
No, it's fine.
But that's.
We know there's, we know there's limitations, and we know that some of these things are new, like we've never done that before.
Yeah.
And as a commissioner, no commission has done that before, so it's all new, takes extra time to review.
Yeah, but I think it honestly, like, it's also quite pretty strict, I would imagine pretty
Yeah.
strict for as far as the process, so
Yeah.
they're just seeing.
I just
That's
hope they,
definitely
I
out
just
there
hope they
for the
see the
council.
importance in it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the
They-
Arts Alliance, you could go in there owned by the city and they have art for sale in there. So it doesn't mean there's nothing impossible about selling art.
Yeah, I know.
One way or the other,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just that's a case in point. It's public,
Cool.
not public,
Yeah.
but it is
Would it
offered
be,
to the public in the Arts Alliance building. You know.
Would it be worth adding sort of a, not like an addendum to this, or not an addendum, but just making note of that, we would, you know, if council approves, you know, the concept, then commission will, you know, can present ideas on logos and, you know, more specific listings of merchandise, or should we just let that
Let that just
Let
come
that-
after.
come when it comes?
For now.
Yeah, not sure, yeah, not knowing.
I think it
Yes,
just
We
leave it.
just,
Leave it, yeah, okay.
just be safe.
Simple question, you know? That's what they may, if they could end up coming back, I mean, I imagine if it gets taken up, there'll be multiple conversations, even if not between commission and council, for sure council staff as it's developed, if council cares. about it.
Yeah.
And if they do take it up, then, we come with a more,
Presentation.
yeah, with a presentation, or was that just something that they would review on their own?
I would imagine so, and the last couple of requests that we've had for the local Gilroy event
Mhm.
was an example, so I was requesting the commission to start that, and both the chair and vice chair, be a presentation to council about the event to get that approval, so I imagine at some point there's gonna be a conversation.
Okay.
Or a presentation to the council,
Okay,
so, but again, that's along the process, and so the first step is obviously if the recommendation is issued from the.
right.
So for this, do we vote on putting forth this with the change as a recommendation?
Any changes, and yeah, the commission would have to make a vote to issue the recommendation or the final version, so.
Yeah. So with the change for which the city already owns the rights, that's the only change that I have noted right here. Were there any other amendments?
I don't think so.
that-
Sounded good to me.
Okay, so, I guess we'll put forward a vote.
Okay, yeah. So I'll make a motion to move forward with this recommendation to council for the ability to sell merchandise with the change on the third paragraph for which the city already owns the rights. So I'll motion to approve moving this forward.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on this one.
Thank you.
Beautifully written as all.
I'm up teared up there.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 7.4 for the Love of Joy Art Program.
So there's one more item.
Oh,
Yeah.
did I already? Oh, I skipped over 7.3. Recommendation requesting surplus funding for arts and culture events and programs.
So this is another recommendation that we discussed in our fundraising brainstorm. And this was one we had. Then kind of was like, hey, you can write this one too. So,
If you're gonna be there, might as well.
So, once again, using a lot of the same, you know, reasoning why and, you know, what these funds would be used for. This is a recommendation to council to, appropriate. And I took a stab at a percentage based on a general idea of that there could be a wide range of your funds from nothing right? When we're talking about surplus to quite a large amount. So, 5% felt like a fair, percentage to request of the, end of year surplus from general fund savings. And this would be to, really to support. Well, the first one was more talking about continuous activities, because if we have merchandise sales, we might be thinking about having those funds coming in on a rolling basis. Whereas this is sort of, hey, this can support public art. This can support, these larger activities that, we're looking to push forward. So, that is the slight change from the previous recommendation, in that, we would like to consider funding our own public artworks, pardon me, and our programs, with this potential surplus and funds. And, again, kind of talking about how public art, fosters, community engagement and creates these vibrant, spaces where we can connect with one another. We can support our local artists and, also our aspiring local artists, with our programming, with, the possibility of using these funds. And this was all kind of conceptualized, when we had previously discussed, I believe it was another commission that was potentially
Parks and
requesting, it was Parks and Rec that was also looking into requesting a percentage of,
Oh.
end of year surplus. And so we said, hey, can we do that? And so again, this is a second recommendation. And my question back to the commission, outside of any possible changes to the wording here, is whether we want to put these recommendations in together, whether we think we should stagger, and if so, which one would we prioritize? So, well, first, let's start with, are there any questions or changes to this recommendation that anyone?
I didn't see any change, like anything in there that was correct, but I didn't know if there was anything on your end.
Yeah.
Nothing that, there's no disappearing, like,
Yeah.
we just go off the factual and ask for us, so,
Yeah.
right, there's nothing factually wrong with it, so.
Yeah,
So 5% of the end of the year surplus from the general fund savings. Do you know how much, how much would that?
like what was it last year?
Yeah, do you know the last year, like how much that would have been?
So historically, the general fund savings in the year's been roughly around $1 million.
Okay,
The budget for this year uses all the funds and actually dips into reserves.
okay,
So if we have full performance on the budget, zero salary savings, then there would be any at the end of the year.
yeah,
Again, we plan to budget the entire, or use the entire funds each year in the past.
Yeah.
Will it be salary, will it be savings? Probably, to some degree, I just don't, it's really hard to predict what it would be though.
yeah. Okay, I just
So
feel
I'm
like,
not really solid.
no. The only reason I'm just saying is because I feel like we just put two things forward saying like, we want to sell to earn money, but we also would like a percentage to save. I feel like we'd have a better chance of saying them separately. Just so that an idea of, they can go through and think about them rather than think about both of this at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Or like was mentioned, combining with parks and maybe drafting some kind of proposal for both.
They've already had, they've already.
did it.
Oh, they already
There's-
did theirs, or?
Well, they're in that 2-year window, whatever that.
Yeah, so there's a work plan item.
Yeah.
That's been talked about. My understanding is that's coming pretty quick to council,
Okay,
so. It's up to the commission as far as how it wants to do, if there's one that wants to table for the other, that's up to the commission.
and then, I'm so sorry, so sorry. The 5%, is that saying like from going on until, this is a permanent thing? Okay, I know, it was like based on this year, okay.
But
Yeah,
then we
so
can-
it's like to appropriate, 5% of end year surplus annually.
Yeah,
I can add that, change. if
Just,
that
yeah.
makes it more clear. Was it unclear?
Yeah, I think so, otherwise it does
I'm an
sound like
overthinker,
just
that's my,
this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no like
Annually.
specifics.
I just fear that they're gonna look at both of them
Mhm.
together and think, yeah.
Has, uh, Bryce, have there been other commission? Oh,
Yes, it could be red items.
Mhm.
I'm gonna add it to, for clarity.
I think as far as getting in front of this city council, it'd be important to call out specifically like the economic development impact of the use of this money. So we do kind of mention in here, like commission public artworks throughout Gilroy. That doesn't necessarily, to me, that sounds like we're gonna pay artists, right, to do artwork, which is economic development, but that not might be a thought that they're connecting. So I would say calling that out specifically around economic development to the artist community, but also to businesses whose walls we could potentially paint within, becoming a sort of like a
And what we,
like a point of interest for visitors, for tourists.
That
Photo
is in there. If you wanted to see this, so public arts, support local artists while engaging new ones with diverse opportunities for viewing and participating. And ultimately, they drive economic growth by attracting visitors and sustaining residents alike. If you would like to build on that, or if there's more specific wording.
I think there's some specific wording you might wanna add, Ruben, you have some of those, the percentages or the, numbers with what cultural events bring for Santa Clara County. There's, like, they have a way to say if you have 1,000 people, they each spend whatever.
Quantify it.
And yeah, so some sort of way to enhance that, I think, because sharing, also having the multicultural community days. I mean, we talked about doing that potentially in the park, the Donald Prieta Park, which is downtown, so that also activates a space downtown,
Mhm.
bringing people to that area where we really want to see some increase in economic development there. So I think it's kind of using that a little bit more in here. We might want to rework that just to add the economic development part or the impact of it.
Okay, so that would also apply to the other recommendation.
No, not necessarily. I think the selling of the merchandise is different.
Yeah,
I think
Okay.
this is because it's strictly asking for funds and what will be the return of that
Well, this is
investment.
No impact is taxpayer, no additional investment in the city, right? But, okay,
So just to clarify, when it's being, when the letter, when you're approving the recommendation, it has to be a specific language.
Yeah,
yeah,
If you leave it general and your recommendation, you give it your approving of the letter.
right.
So saying, hey, add this language, I would recommend that you provide what that language actually is.
Yeah,
You have to
right.
vote
Yeah.
on that edit
yeah.
here. So
Right.
just as I just want to make sure
Okay.
we didn't just leave a general comment, we need to provide the specific.
Right,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
Better language.
so. And in order to have, say, if we were going to prioritize the,
One or
the
the other.
5% one, I think we would need to have that in front of council. Like, it would need to be approved, I believe, during this session, right, in order
Yeah,
to.
so
for the
to
deadline.
give you some behind the scenes information.
Mhm.
So the request is going, and again, it's the Parks and Recreation Commission had a recommendation that was.
Yeah.
Carried by council to consider this, a reserve or part of the surplus for parks improvements. If this request going, there's also other internal city operations that are eyeing savings within the year two for liability reductions and things like that. So
Right.
that discussion is coming very fast.
So
that
It'll
should be-
probably be
Yeah.
October. I can't commit
Wow.
push to that. It's
Yeah.
coming quickly. So of the two, as far as timing purposes, the general fund surplus savings would be something that you would want to move on.
Yeah.
And yes, that way it's in with the rest of the conversation, because it's all gonna be brought. My understanding, that was one item, and so you'll want the recommendation to be on there, so at least they're aware of the request
Correct.
officially.
Okay, so with the, end of year surplus annually, correction. Along with that, is there?
Yeah, and do you need
Where's
to put it
the-
down here too annually, you think? This recommend, the summary part?
Yes,
Okay.
kind of should be surplus.
Question. Do you think it would also be a decent idea to let them put theirs forth first, just to see if they accept, the one and go through it and then make sure it's all good? And then we wait secondary and then put in later after theirs has already been taxed and figured out, and you know what I mean, like.
So
thoroughly looked at.
there's.
Tricky.
So there's two different approaches. They both have valid, they also have risk,
Mhm.
right? So in October, I am going for this to include the Parks and Recreation Commissions, and councils, obviously, the agenda item for the parks. I don't know what the final request is as far as percentage
Mhm.
share of that. We have, at the same time, it sounds like discussions about maybe workers' comp liability, savings.
Yeah.
So the requests and the percentages are getting consumed. So one is, there's a risk that if you don't have it in there, then
Right.
would you lose access?
Yeah.
And they end up allocating all 100% of savings to different things.
My thinking,
Or.
sorry, I'm so
No,
sorry. I just think about the city council and that while they might look at this as a whole, they also might think it's too much as a pile on at one time. It's actually, we add like another 5%. I don't know how much you're requesting for the,
Parks and Rec.
the Parks and Rec is requesting. That's the thing. So I just think if like they're like, as a total comes at them, they're like, this is a lot of, looking at that as a whole. That's just my concern that they just might buff it
But if
off.
they're also looking at workers' comp and these other considerations for the funds, might be better to.
That's
The
true.
other
Throw
thing
off.
to recall, and this may not be worse, so of the total general fund savings, 50% is already consumed.
Yeah.
25% to pension
Yeah.
liability, 25% to the other post-employment benefits, right? So there's two. The rest is again, whereas the liability and workers' comp
Mhm.
and other things are some pretty large numbers.
It might just be
As
taking
well.
it, but they don't.
So that's my only concern. See, so I have teased that this request is working through, so it's on the agenda, so it's not. like it's-
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would just, my only thought, and from a perspective, I would hate to have a request available, and then when the item comes before council, if they end up allocating all of the remaining funds, then there may not be
Anything remaining.
a voice. That's my only.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's kind of ringing in the back of my head.
The other advantage too is if it seems that it is going to come before council, correct? So. With this recommendation, there's probably a higher likelihood of council even picking it up to
Could-
review in the first place.
Could they also then look at and see if we can take a certain portion of that, but not all of it? Or they would have to take like us and parks,
Yeah, that'd be up to council, so council can pick and choose
yeah.
what they pull into it. But again, I think it's important to have the commission, for lack of a better term, having its place at the table, so to speak, as far as the request and then on the same standing. The
Hmm.
item is going to be going for council, so in a way, it's getting picked up as part of this broader process.
Mhm.
But again, it's ultimately the commission's decision, so I normally, that's a lot more weighing in than I normally do, but.
No,
I
no, no,
I
it's-
don't-
I
hate
think
to
we
that-
need-
turn around and be like, oh, you can go shop.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
and
No,
me
no.
Conversation, thank you.
Thank you for talking.
And thank you.
No.
Okay.
I'll jump
Um,
in over, thank you.
our commissioners doing some. Anybody would like to step up with some wordsmithing on, for the economic development, additions or
That was the
modifications?
specifics, examples that you want to present, exact. I mean, I can't think of any, I would think of these two that would have it.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think,
think
not
they're-
me.
I know, doing the research.
Yeah,
Have
researching.
the I have the numbers here, so for this is the statement I have here, according to the Arts and Economic Prosperity 6 by Americans for the Arts. Attendees at Santa Clara County's nonprofit arts and culture events spend on average of $39.56 per person per event, beyond the cost of admission on items such as meals, parking, and lodging. So,
I'm gonna need you to slow down.
yeah, no, I'm saying it out loud. I'm just saying it so you can hear it.
Yeah, oh, I see, I see.
So the number is $39.56 per person are spent at arts and culture event in Santa Clara County. So that's how you quantify
Yeah.
economic impact per person attending arts and culture
$39.56 per
Yeah.
person.
in Santa Clara County. And this is a national study that has been broken down to the county. And so that's how we're able to get specific numbers for Santa Clara County.
Okay, so according to, what was it, Americans,
Yeah, it's Americans for the Arts.
a national study by the Americans for the Arts, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
National
yeah, here you can, maybe this is helpful, so you can.
And the wealthiest county.
Yeah, Americans for
Is that weird?
the Arts.
It's the
Mhm.
It's telling.
Yes, so interesting.
Yeah, cause I feel like if we have to have any shot in what's being proposed alongside
Yeah.
ours, we have to make this case for economic impact.
Just have to worry. It's not the one.
So attendees at Santa Clara County, arts and culture events.
I mean, I think to your point,
Awesome.
Stephen, it's.
Sorry, it
Oh, sorry.
went dark. So attendees at Santa Clara County Arts and Culture events spend $39.56 per person.
For that.
Per person, per event.
I just do want to say, the only reason I think I'm bringing this up is just because I think, not to talk about specific people, accounts obviously is just to look at it as, while we are on this, committee, because we love Gilroy for the art and the culture and we want to push it forward. I think that we think that way, but when we look at the council, their direction is, well, might not to be thinking about art as a necessary.
As economics.
Is exactly, they might think more of the economic sense of adding another 5%. That's just my thinking.
No, I think.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's
that's
my
one
only concern.
versus wanna raise a little bit of money.
Yeah, and that's why I think it will help. I just hope it, pushes them in a way to think of it as a positive.
Well, there is also language in here that, mentions that this is
Yeah,
no cost, it's no cost to the city.
yeah,
Right? It's no
It's already,
cost
yeah.
to taxpayer.
exactly. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, according to a national study by Americans for the Arts, attendees at Santa Clara County Arts and Culture events spend $39.56 per person at each event, or per event. And what was it on?
It says beyond the cost of admission, beyond the cost of
Wow.
admission,
Beyond admission costs, yeah. On what?
such as meals, parking, and lodging.
Okay. Meals, parking, lodging.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's,
We don't need to put that. Yeah.
I think we need to push this through because
Sooner than
if
that.
we don't, even if they said no, we're back at the place where we started
Yeah.
at. But if we don't put it through, then
We might miss
we
window.
just don't have any shot at all. So I think, I'm always on the side of never selecting myself out, taking myself out of the running or something. I'm just gonna put it through and then they can decide what they want to do with it.
Yeah.
So we just try to make the best case for why we feel like art should be accepted, and that's about it.
I agree, I concur. I think you should. I personally think we should put forward this recommendation for the surplus funding percentage with these amended changes, and I'll read out changes. ASAP. And I think it does help to kind of get on the table, to get at the table rather, and especially where we know this is something that council plans to look at. I think with there being multiple different requests, there's a stronger likelihood that they would take it up to view them as a whole. Because why single us out? Why say, well, we're not gonna look at arts and culture, when we're already looking at these other commissions and things like liability and.
Is there a way to combine these two proposals? Because they are kind of very similar. One, we're asking for 5% to put on events, things like that. The other one, we're asking for the rights to sell things at events, which we're now going to be hopefully helping
Well,
them
also
get
mostly
paid for.
online.
And maybe even include, hey, there could be a slide scale. This year we want 5%, but as our production of, arts that we can sell ramp up, maybe that's 4% next year, 3% the year after that, 2% the year after that, because we become self-sustaining as we sell at these events, these art things. That might make it a little more palatable to them, but they're really crunched for money right now. So, just an idea.
Yeah, I couldn't agree on that one. I
I
mean,
think
that's
keeping
totally
it separate,
different.
only because there's a lot of information. And they might
There
wanna
is.
vote on it in a different way, so.
I would just hate to see both get
Definitely.
rejected, or we get 5% of nothing at the end of the day.
Well, if we get 5% of nothing, this year.
It's still in
it's
there.
Still in
It's
there.
still in there, true.
It's following year, following year, right?
Yeah.
And then we can put forward the second recommendation, for selling. And, that one can be, give us, and again, there is language in there to talk about, continuous funding. When we're talking about merchandise.
Yeah.
I could probably make it more explicit if they were combined, but I wouldn't want to limit us to say, hey, we're gonna scale back.
Well, I mean, that was just the additional part I threw in there, but I
Yeah.
like the idea of maybe combining them, so.
And
But I
then
think we don't have a lot of time to kind of workshop it.
True.
if we're putting this one, let's say, we go down, we say, well, we want to put this one in first. How long afterwards then with the council would we be able to put in the other one? When's the next available time for that?
So at this point, the first council meeting. That assuming, I think it's approved tonight. The first one would be October 6th council meeting. Because we're too late for the November 15th. That's. But that is actually a good public at this point. But that is, I believe that is October 6th meeting is the one I believe is targeted for the item discussed. So this is the last possible to approve the one for. To make it in time for the 6th.
I would say
Where the general fund surplus discussion happens.
Yeah.
Beyond that, then it's really whenever the commission wants to
Present that.
present to council as far as like on their council
Yeah.
correspondence. So you could have it be the second in October.
Mhm.
Or
Oh, so
November, into November. That's the general thought.
Yeah,
I would recommend that maybe no later than the December meeting, just because. With the letter template, you're having the vote of the commission that was present, there'll be multiple seats.
yeah,
After the next commission appointment that's gonna happen this fall, so. I would recommend sooner than later getting it in, but,
yeah, honestly, just to start snowballing it faster, yeah.
so you could just do one meeting and the next meeting.
Okay.
That's the commission's-
Perfect,
and
okay.
That works, yeah.
Okay.
I'll need to have that as part of the motion maybe for this one, like, I just need to know that's
Okay.
a separate.
A separate.
Separate
motion.
motion.
Separate action, so
Yeah.
one to approve the letter to the
Yeah.
recommendation, and then.
Mhm.
a
The
separate
timing of
motion
it.
on Timing of it.
Okay.
That'll help.
So let me read the, really quick, the
Changes.
proposed changes. So, the first would be adding annually, anytime we're talking about, the approval for appropriating 5% of the end of year surplus. So that includes, commission is seeking council approval to appropriate 5% of the end of year surplus annually from general fund savings to support robust arts, and that's in the first paragraph. And in addition, it's in the final request. This recommendation to allocate 5% of the general fund savings surplus to the Arts and Culture Commission annually was approved by the commission with this following vote. Finally, adding language on economic development with the study citation. I believe it would go best as the sentence after the final sentence in the last paragraph. So after economic growth by attracting visitors and sustaining residents alike. Saying, for example, according to a national, for example, according to a national study by Americans for the Arts, attendees at Santa Clara County Arts and Culture events spend $39.56 per person at each event beyond admission costs.
Did you want the last examples of what they spend it on or no?
Do you think that'd be helpful? If, my only thinking is like lodging and parking might not be things that attendees at our particular events would be spending on, so.
Yeah, I think that's fine beyond admission. So
Mhm.
I think just leave it at that. That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make a motion to approve this letter of recommendation to dedicate surplus funding based on the changes that Commissioner Zamora just read off. We have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna make another motion
Mhm.
on the timing of presenting these letters of recommendation. That the first one for the percentage for arts and culture efforts would be at the October 6th meeting. And then the second one for fundraising with the ability to sell merchandise would be at the October
For the second meeting.
second meeting, second October meeting.
14. Right, so that would be 20.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Awesome.
So I will make those changes and send the.
Yeah, now, some DocuSign,
Okay,
incorporate the vote into it. And you sent the DocuSign for your signature, myself.
perfect.
Thank you so much for writing
Thank
that.
you.
That's a lot of.
Okay, now we get to move on to 7.4.
October 14.
For the Love of Gilroy Public Art Program and Event.
Yeah, so, the. To my staff here. So the commission has created the subcommittee, for it. We had, kind of in the staff work identified, again, that there was, sufficient funding in the public art fund for the actual banners, rights, production, so things like these that. But we might, look at exploring other funding, include that itself. Like issues, there's been previous discussions, regarding the needs for implementation. So one of the things I wanted to include, just because we're getting to that point, this is obviously not specific to this event, but this is a template of a Gantt chart, which most, if not all, of you probably already seen before. We should go down. Yeah, don't mind. More than this right here. It might be useful. Again, it might be for the subcommittees, as far as we need to kind of flush it out about what the tasks are, timelines. But we probably at this point need to work back from when the event is desired. So,
Which was February.
was February, but that was February back when we have a meeting, I think, back in June. So, I don't know if that timetable can still be met. It probably could, but it would involve a lot of work over like the
Right.
holidays.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's in the commission's. If that's certainly the commission desires to have, is working on this over December and on November as well. The call for us last time, we gave them about 2 months, I believe, to put forward the designs. And so even if we get the call for artists out. If. So if we did the call for artists. Now, so we got all crafted, ready to go. And issued out at the end of this month, September, October, the end of November. That the designs will be in, kept that same schedule. So that would mean that the selection will have to be in December. In order for the council, which wouldn't be able to hear it till January 5th. So if it's mid-February, that's a really tight timeline.
Yeah, because it would be January 5th if the council approved.
Yeah, if the council approves that these are the banners are selected,
It takes 10 days to print.
right, so that puts
So
it,
we still would need to send out contracts,
let's have contracts, the artists will have to be really fast on turnaround. We attempted last time to send we were trying to get the agreements out. Ahead of
Right.
time to the artists assigned, but the problem is then we have agreements out to artists that may not, well, we know we're gonna get picked because there's two submissions. And so the question is, will anybody take that and say, well, look, I signed the agreement, or have their signed version, but I know they did, even though it's highly unlikely, it's worst case scenario, I think worst case scenario on this
so
thing.
if we did January 5th, how long did it take last time to do the agreements?
It was pretty quick. So it took us probably about 2 weeks to get the last million signatures.
So we can say.
Most pretty quick. So if that's the case, it says February 5th, we release the contracts for signatures on the 6th. We would probably get it on
Like the
January
by the
20th, first somewhere on there.
Yeah,
And so then that would be when you would be able to
submit the
designs to
designs for
production.
print. Mhm.
Right. So that would give, 10 days.
So I'm gonna say like January 25th would be, being realistic.
Are we thinking of
Contracts.
doing third party well release in February,
Mhm,
the
that could
20th?
work.
February 20th?
So if it was around, let's say the 23rd of January, that gives until like that Friday. Of the contracts being in and getting submitted. So by the 6th of February is when the banners would be ready. So it's doable if we wanted it to be 2 weeks later on the 20th. That week that all of the
The-
schools are out and,
So the question would be,
or if we went on the 13th.
could all the marketing material, everything be ready to go?
By October 1st.
No,
No, before
well,
that.
yeah, October 1st, yes. Sorry, I was looking at September 30th and for some reason my brain's like, no, what you're having.
But it could be by, I mean, it would have to be before then, right? So that staff would have.
Yeah, so we would have, so the actual, so like the call for artists can go out the 30th, that, or 30th, the first. That's not a problem, but the marketing piece, we have to have
The week
program
before.
ready to go.
Like the
So that would have to
23rd,
go and stuff get reviewed by vacation week.
yeah,
So-
which we have everything from last year,
Mm-hmm.
so it would be just changing dates. Because it's already approved and it's kind of like. We have the logo already and it's on banners that we put at the end caps already, so
So the question would be then,
is it doable still?
what is, well, yeah, in a way, yes,
down?
everybody else,
Yeah.
is that?
It's
are
a
we-
really good question.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm like.
No, it's,
Yeah, just-
I mean, if we can still make it happen and this is what we wanna do, then.
I would say we still wanna do it, and I think if we delay it, it really pushes it to, who knows, time frame.
So then decide in December.
So what does that
When
mean?
you
A
want to
special
have the
meeting?
commission evaluate the designs.
I would say that we would need to do that. Mhm.
So
I-
to make the agenda for the
Definitely not.
5th. I have to have the staff report everything ready by December 22nd.
By when?
December 22nd.
So I would say maybe around like the week of the 8th.
So maybe our normal meeting time, was that the second Tuesday?
Second Tuesday, the ninth. Yeah.
Still have it on my calendar. I still have it on my
I
calendar.
would say that, I mean, it's this time where we normally meet.
Yeah, just to make sure we can get that.
That should be fine.
And then we do a whole thing like around the table like we did last time.
Yeah, I think that's probably because I mean, I can send it out electronically if there was, but well. Yeah, it's sometimes it's nice to have, because we're gonna have to have the opportunity again to have them submit hand drawings for those that, especially for, it doesn't have the technology to do it that way, so. Yeah, it'd be better to have it presented in a physical format. So, yeah, so we'll print out.
Better too, because you can look at things side by side.
Mhm.
Yeah, we kind of have to look.
Because then we can schedule, with public.
Are we
works.
going for another 12 or what's our?
Oh, yeah, what is the amount we wanna do? We did.
How many submissions did you have?
Last year,
Okay.
How many submissions did you have?
26 or
No, it
so.
was like 30. So it was like
30.
36.
Yeah, I think it was 38, 2 were disqualified.
Mhm.
If you're concerned about it.
And then we had all of that, some of the wording changes that we needed for.
Call for us, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We've experienced enough pain with this. We got the two
Yeah,
fixes,
yeah,
the
Okay.
yeah.
design, and then we also have the submission process
Mhm.
from through portals, yes.
Did we choose the portal? already?
We have, so we've narrowed down on the change the business name, but I think it's called Muna now.
Mm.
And so they are a bidding website, no size cap, it's pretty easy to do. We're just waiting for confirmation of when we're open before we sign the contract.
Got it.
So what we're gonna do as a test for all bidding for the city going forward, so this will be the first.
Hey,
First
how
one through.
cool.
So, yeah.
We're so nice.
It's us.
Ruben,
Always has. leave it like that.
Recite how many,
Art.
winners we want?
How many posts do we have to fill?
a lot.
Yeah, right?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do another 14,
And
And
then
then-
and start to narrow it down smaller.
because once you have the event, so when you have the. Again, this is my thought when you do it. It's up to commission, sorry, I should interject myself.
No, no.
With the first cycle, we had unveiling that for all the winners, it was only the winners that were up. Where the commission was unveiling that to just have the winners of this round, and then after a certain period of time, we add. The first 14 at towards both ends, keeping the core to the new winners. And then that would be 28
Mhm.
pools, and that's, I think we're getting kind of,
Absolutely.
that's pretty deep in
Yeah.
both ways.
Yeah.
I think we can still do that, but then you still are just featuring them being
Mm-hmm.
just the winners of this season. I imagine there'll be some that will be submission of artists that may have won the first round too. So that's some of the thing, but that's a good question, actually.
Do we
Which-
want to,
do you-
do we want to repeat, do we want any repeat winners or only first timers?
I say you accepted all submissions.
Oh, yeah,
You said what?
Accept
Accept
all
all.
submissions.
Yeah.
yeah, I think
I
so.
think that's
Even if
hard,
it's
'cause
previous
people, yeah.
You
and
mean
sometimes-
banner them?
Huh?
You mean to banner them, all submissions?
No.
Yeah, no, of course, all the
for-
submissions, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not to prohibit, not to automatically
disqualify
disqualify
someone who already got picked last year.
Oh,
But you know, maybe keeping it in mind as
Just keep
we're
it in
making
mind.
our selections,
Yes.
you know.
sure
Okay,
could.
no, just one clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you never know, if we start saying, well, if you've won in the previous year, we're gonna be self-selecting down to a narrower group of.
Artists don't stop
submissions.
creating.
Exactly.
There you go.
And they have new.
That's our logo.
That's gonna be on a t-shirt.
Yes.
Can't stop, won't stop. Stop.
You gotta come out.
Put it on a shirt.
Like instead of don't stop moving, you know,
Yeah,
don't stop believing, it's don't stop creating.
yeah, there you go.
Camille?
Visionist.
Okay, so
So-
I have all my dates on here.
Okay, yeah, I want confirmation, because on the, especially on the deadline in November, I want to. make sure
So we've been to update art by September 23rd
Okay.
and submit to communications or whoever.
Yeah,
Yourself,
I'll
yeah.
copy myself and Stefan, so that way we can make sure we get moving.
And then the call for artists will go out October 1st through November 30th. Selection will take place December 9th. To then recommend to council for approval on the January 5th meeting. Contracts will go out January 6th to be completed by January 20th. Production, or the banners will go to the printer for production January 23rd. Banners completed, picked up and delivered to City Works by February 6th. And use scheduled for them to be put up by February 19th or event date the 20th.
Yeah, they started on the day before.
Yeah,
Which we'll tell on the back done for us, which is nice too.
Yeah.
So we'll-
I was, yeah, so same sort of thing. Event will be on February 20th.
So it launches on the first of October, or first of
Mhm.
October, ends the last day of
November.
November 30th, Sunday,
Let's make that December
December
1st.
1st, yeah. Yeah, so that way we can have at least the last day.
Move it
on
on.
the office.
Yeah.
Well, we know which.
tomorrow.
I know.
It really is.
It's tomorrow, basically.
Yeah. pretty much.
That's why I said if we don't do this now, or it's not gonna happen this year. It's not gonna happen for a while. Okay, and that's for 14 banners.
Yeah, it's good.
Whoa.
So, one thing, so what I'll do is I'll go and create
Thanks.
for us. One of the things, I'll include all the city steps as well, and if there's one question I do have, just one down what it was. Hold on.
Funding for an unveiling of it.
Thank you. So what I'll try to do is, I'll look for other funding sources and options we might have. And have the next meeting of the commission in October to go over options that we might be able to use for funding the actual event itself. So the call for artists will be, we'll mention the unveiling, but we may end up having to have an update to the call for artists as far as unveiling an event be. Which is typical, we get in our RFPs all the time, doing addendum, so it's not like we should, but just letting the commission know.
Now, is that something that if we did cut back to 12 banners, then we can afford to use funding of our own, or it's just the
No, because
allocation of
there's two
funds?
different, so the
Yeah.
public art fund, only for the actual public art itself.
Yeah,
Can't, so an event, like an event is not that, so we had to use the.
The other
Arts
one?
Culture Commission fund.
Which
Right
we
now,
don't
it's
have enough.
$10.
Yeah.
oh.
So, but.
We could buy the apple, we could buy the apple juice.
I was
gonna say, did we donate?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get donations,
Yeah, we
so
can
that would be
donation.
something that we.
And we'll reconcile it too, because there is a donation that was made before that is not something out of the fund, so we'll work with finance right now, so there might be a couple hundred in there. But yeah, the whole thought is we could get donations to the in time,
Uh-huh.
um,
So we can do that, our subcommittee can also do that on our
Yep.
own, get it secure.
yeah, so we
Donations.
just need to communicate with that, way, make sure we get proper documentation. and this.
So what was the cost? If I remember, I donated 500 to cover the cost.
Yeah,
so what is
it
it
was,
called?
we donated 600 and it was the 14 flag,
Okay, so
so we went for the actual flag itself.
got it. So not the cost of the,
Of the event.
okay, so do we have an idea of the cost of the event?
So last time I think it was like $1,050 something dollars total. It was the vast majority was for the stage.
Okay,
Like the other stuff that we had, the smaller stuff like the drinks and whatever, that was low cost. That was.
Okay,
just
so
very
without
small.
this-
About the stage is the primary one.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
The audio was our own city equipment, so we
got it.
did pretty cheap at that point. So it's just the stage was the big
Mhm.
one.
Can we offer things beyond cider if we do get funding or?
If
donations?
As long as we can offer, as long as it's non-alcohol.
Right.
But if we
I like
talked about
that,
this
I like
other,
that
guy,
sound.
did have, if there's another agency that wants to offer
Hosting
to hosting the giving of wine.
would be like the art.
Then they could do that. Obviously, they would have to have the seller's licenses. They would be essentially hosting their own at the event, but it wouldn't be tied to that, so city can't have any involvement
Right.
in the liquor share.
Okay.
But that's option. So we looked at that for a couple other events. There were some, like, there's a downtown kickoff event for early 2021, 22, I think. And so they did the same thing, like, local chamber of commerce business offered at the event, so they did their own line thing. They worked out pretty well. So we look at that again as well.
I think that wine and art go together.
Wine and anything.
Actually, yes.
Even though I can't take.
I'll do it for you.
Like wine and wine. go together.
Yes.
Yeah, in your honor.
Oh. Okay. So I think that's good. So the one question then, if the subcommittee can hang on just a little bit after the meeting, they work on dates for meeting together. There's one last board review stuff
Yeah.
before the call for arts goes out and
Mhm.
that type of thing. Okay. So that's actually achieved a lot more than on this item than I have put in the dashboard. So this is good.
Do we need to vote on anything or no? Because it's a work plan item that we've already voted on.
Yeah, so the work plan items already underway,
Okay,
so this is
perfect.
really just like a planning to implement it, so I think
Well,
what.
there's no action.
The only action for this event comes at the point of, selecting.
Selecting. Okay,
That's where a decision is.
okay. So now we're gonna move on to 7.5 fundraising options.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a follow-up to a future item request, and this was discussed the last meeting. Really, it's an opportunity to brainstorm additional fundraising opportunities and options, and ideas that commissioners have. It's just free range,
Brainstorming.
and we'll document that and start creating a list via that staff report as we kind of the commission starts to kind of look through it, see what's viable, what's not viable.
So currently, it's just the bench plaque program, which I think we have to update. So that is one thing. We probably have to update on the map or what benches are new, or if we can add anything to any of these
Mhm.
benches. There are some that don't have the indention, so I don't think we can add to those. Yeah, but we can find out. Cause that's in like the Paseo, those don't have, the indention part, but I think that's maybe something we can add. And I didn't know if were any others, but I think we have to identify the ones that are still available and maybe have something digitally that we can send out to people or some way to,
Yeah, we did talk about
Marketing.
increasing exposure.
yeah.
Like
so no
through
one
the
knows about
city
it.
newsletter or like the, did you know, in the Gilroy Dispatch or
Mhm.
like there was even discussion of like, could we, increased the cost for certain premium locations, like if there are benches available downtown.
Yeah.
That they cost more.
And then, whether we would designate, like which spots we would designate as.
Yeah, so maybe if the Paseo ones, if we're able to use those, it could be more expensive to attach something to it because it doesn't already have they may have to throw holes, I don't know. I just have no idea. But we'll look into it.
We'll look into it, sure.
Okay.
Give it that aspect. So the thought is brainstorm,
Okay,
identify all the questions you want answered.
so I think
then we'll come back.
since that's something that like exists, but we also haven't looked into who's doing the plaques now. I have no idea what company is doing it for us and if the costs went up. It's been so long, I have no clue. I would say the Baxa one was the last one that we had, so we probably could use that one as an example too.
I did one not that long ago, but it's on the bench at the end of
Yeah.
where the Arts Alliance it was just the same old plaque. I mean,
Yeah, I just don't know what
Anything-
company is doing it right now.
same old,
fine.
whatever, and
Okay.
Adam, what ran through Adam.
I've been meaning to do that. So updating that, seeing, maybe identifying new benches
Yeah.
and then, how we can market it and maybe increasing the price.
Yeah.
Um,
Commissioners, get your benches down.
Let's do it now.
Instead of benching, yeah.
Was $1,000.
Huh?
The Paseo ones were $1,000.
Oh, do they have things on them?
Oh, yeah, well, no, I mean the one that the city one that, I'm talking about a different, I think of the city part that was developed. But that was $1,000 for the plaque on that bench.
Oh,
Yeah, but way back when. Yeah, but that was a special project.
Still, $100 is pretty,
I just feel like we're doing it as part of the city is so limiting to what you can do and can't do.
yeah.
I can't think of anything honestly. Like to do as a fundraising idea, specific that is like no cost, you know.
I mean, we do have the two that we.
Just
Our
those-
job,
just those
our
two, you know.
organization Does.
Yeah.
You have to ask what we do too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
Is there anything like
that
it's
you
limited
can't.
to I mean, obviously we
You know.
can't go to business, but like,
I mean,
give us money.
yeah, well, you could get to get patrons.
So then,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of the fundraising authorization that we receive. So you can actually
Okay.
go and get donations if
Yeah,
they're willing
that's
to do
what I
it.
said.
They give
well
us
then
these
I was,
options.
well, I mean,
Sponsors.
a long time in Colorado, what we used to do, I mean, obviously a lot of cities do is, or when you go into percentage of the sales they make that night or whatever, that's up 5% or whatever from a restaurant goes to the commission. I mean, even if we
can
can
we do those?
even if we can, I mean, I go to
So
restaurant nights at different bars or different I can think of tons of already
the
doing it
only cautionary thing for donation,
is,
raffles.
okay,
A lot
Oh, yeah.
of places make this big mistake. Only so a raffle can only be done by a 501c3 organization, which the city,
Okay.
although we're charitable, is not a 501c3.
okay,
And it has to be registered with the Department of Justice because it's technically gambling.
gambling, okay,
So you have to get approval from them and then report. I mean, that's
Okay.
one thing we cannot do as a commission. There might be, so there's a couple, there's a lot of different ones. So there's companies that do come in and do like sales and auctions, car auctions, that kind of stuff, where they do the split the proceeds. I've had them interact as part of like a foundation. As far as the city itself, I don't know if they have
mm-hmm,
501c3 requirements. I don't know if they do, because we are still charitable,
mm-hmm,
it's almost for a public purpose, which public art is public purpose. So that would be an option as well. It'd be kind of like a small mini part of a gala, I guess. The
Yeah.
thing is, you can also have materials donated.
okay,
And then
yeah,
basically
exactly,
have a bid auction for those.
okay,
So there's a few options that way. The other thing that you could do also is get donated goods for your first little mini gala.
okay, yeah,
Have some items donated for the raffle, have local restaurant donate the food.
yeah,
The city provide a venue, or kind of work with recreation, see if there's a way to get like one of the senior center make. I don't know, we'll just look at some.
Or
options.
that- yeah, the
There's
specifics,
actually
but
quite a few options available, it's just, it's really the late.
Yeah.
I was saying,
I was gonna say the barn.
I want the
A lot of
barn, but we
labor.
can only have
49.
49 people in the barn.
The barn, yeah, I would. It's going now, there's a lot with the barn. We're gonna, yeah, so, yeah, no, the barn has, yeah, there's some things there that.
It needs sprinklers.
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah. I mean,
but there's other venues, there's like the
know,
art
yeah.
center, I'm sure we could probably get the,
Alliance.
yeah, and so the Arts Alliance, we get the,
It's convenient.
sorry, Old City Hall.
The
So there's
exchange.
things that the city
Yeah.
owns, yeah, the exchange, there's others that were probably willing to donate it as well.
yeah,
And there isn't to say that you couldn't get it to happen at like a winery, even though it's not city limits.
fingers crossed.
So there's other options. You know, there's ways to get, so again, though, it's labor.
Legwork is a
Making
lot
a
of work.
relationship with those that
Yeah.
want to donate, and then making sure that one of the key things to think about is. Once we're ready to do the fundraising.
Yeah.
Portion,
What-
we have to take the
what-
fundraising plan to council to make it final approval. Because part of that is how are we recognizing the donors?
Okay,
Right? Is it an
Oh, yeah.
program, is different donation levels give you different recognition of this, like. Is it just in the program, or maybe there's a social media release, like, hey, thanks to this organization donating. For being a silver sponsor of the
Mhm.
fundraising arts and community dollar, something like that. So that's.
Fundraising for what? I mean, people that give money, it's
Yeah,
a little more
yeah.
complicated.
Well-
So we're learning. I mean, this
Yeah.
is not what Arts and Culture Commission has done.
To the right.
So it's opening up.
And that's the key thing. So
It's
they're
opening up
not
doors.
donating to the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they're donating to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Public art events. They're doing
Yeah,
the city.
yeah, they're, yeah.
And it's for public art events or public art itself.
Yeah.
But you have,
That's
typically
a
want to
good
specify.
point.
No, it's, yeah, it's, when you think people are
Why?
donating it, it's
Yeah.
it's very informational.
a lot of work. Feet on the ground.
That's the fun part.
Okay. So I would say just keep brainstorming, write your ideas down so we can create a plan.
Mhm.
and then see. Plan to put forward and get approved.
If I could
Right.
offer, just as a way to kind of stream, if the commissioners want to, can email us ideas as we have them. And
Okay.
have a staff report at our next meeting that we.
Perfect.
Accumulate as well, and that way we'll have a rolling, rolling list basically of ideas. Cool.
So good to be for ChatGPT, man.
Too many second. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, where's this thing? down here?
That is in council comment, or in staff comments.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to item number 8, Gilroy art related community event updates.
I'm still waiting to find out a concert date for for Christopher High School choir. I believe
Yeah.
it is in October. I will find some date for that, but I believe it won't be before our next meeting. So
The only ones that I saw, there was a call for artists for Sixth Street Studios and there was another one too, what was the other? Or maybe it's the same thing, is it,
The total too?
yeah, 1202, is that a different? call?
Yeah,
Which, what the other one?
So there's a call for,
Sixth Street.
or was, yeah, Sixth Street, oh, because it's on the second. page.
specific kind of artist.
It's, how do you pronounce that?
Cobber?
Macabre?
Um,
And the Muertos,
Oh, yeah.
where horror meets heritage.
ooh,
So we're inviting artists to showcase their spooky, eerie, and Dia de los Muertos inspired creations at Sixth Street Studios and Art Center. Deadline to apply is October 3rd. Artwork drop off October 6th through 10th, and opening reception October 17th.
too bad they don't take spooky stories.
No, they would take stories.
You
We
think?
just write it out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just write it.
Oh, it's-
They would
oh,
take it.
Girl, it's written. Too long.
That would be cool. We can see it sometime. So yeah, that's going on, and then I think there was one other one. Let's see if I can-
Next Friday, the 19th is the third Friday Art Walk, September. So that's. Yeah, there's the 5 to 9, multiple locations all across downtown. And we did the grand opening for La Casa de Cultura y Arte 2 weeks ago now, on the 30th. At the Old Liberty House. So,
Yep.
How'd
Yeah.
it go? How'd it go?
It's amazing. We had over 300 people.
Nice.
show up.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was almost 100 degrees. It was about 100 degrees that day. So it was, yeah. It just decided to be like the hottest day. Yeah.
So the one for 1202, Contemporary, which is on the corner of 6th and Monterey. Or 6th and Monterey, yeah, is Memories and Marigolds. So it's another Dia de los Muertos exhibition, call for art. That one is. Deadline is the 22nd of this month. And it's free for Gilroy and Hollister. And they ask you to apply through a Google form. So they're looking for all sorts of artwork.
Cool.
So yeah, new opportunities. Which is cool.
What was the Sixth Street Studios deadline?
October
Third?
third, yeah, I think it's October third.
That's what you said.
Yeah. That's all I have for that. You guys have anything else?
The Nuestras Ofrendas, our, opening is October 3rd. So that show is the community alters that will be part of La Ofrenda Festival. They are part of an art show at the Center for the Arts the whole month of October, but it opens on October 3rd. It does like a blessing of the altars and then a procession in downtown Gilroy, and then festivities like live music and catering, like food and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's October 3rd.
Okay, well, a lot of things
Much
coming up.
more things.
Okay, commission comments, anything else? Staff,
I
staff
have
comments.
14 bullets now.
Yeah.
We'll get to. So we have two. So first is you'll see with includes your packet is a flyer for an event as well as an application. And so there's no there's. So the city is having a health and wellness and safety fair. It's October 18th, Saturday at Sports Park. And basically it's a 5K walk, run, bike, whatever other method of transportation you want to do, except for vehicle. Along, I think it's along the trail going to Crystal Park and that. There is a place for booths, and so the records department is asking for commissions if they want to do. Let them know they'll have tables and chairs and
That's cool.
sponsor. If you want to basically serve and have a table at that case, there's an application for it. So I guess the question is if the commission is not really enough turnaround time, so I can bring the basically if you want to do it and then form application we adopt the October meeting, but that is just barely before the event. So I'll go and look at recreation if that's something that counts. So commission should do. So I don't know. It's just at this point, just a kind of a I don't see no direction. Is that something that the commission's interested in doing?
It would be great if we had some for the love of Gilroy. Like
Yeah.
banners and that kind of thing, but
Well, we won't have banners, but what we can have is a template. So we did table a couple of events last year to promote the For the Love of Gilroy, just to give exposure and stuff, and it really did help. And we did it at
The Downtown Live.
Downtown Lives, 2 of them last year, and maybe a couple of art
Not
walks.
this year.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, not this year. So I think we should do
When
it.
are we, sorry, when are we gonna do the artist,
The
like?
call,
Yeah,
it will be October 1st.
October 1st.
oh, so you guys mentioned, yeah,
Call for it and templates.
so yeah, perfect timing
The
actually,
event, this event though is on the 18th of October.
yeah,
So we should have, yeah.
I
We
think
can
it'd
have
be
some
a great
material
idea,
to
it'd be a lot
show,
of fun.
yeah. And we can maybe
Who
do
doesn't
it
like to
for,
decorate a booth?
yeah, yeah, I have a lot of.
I love to decorate. We got it, yeah, come on, see, look at that.
so much Halloween.
Okay, so then it's yes.
Oh, yeah, come
Yeah.
on, this
We
is
could do
fun.
it, we could do it, it'd be fun, it's like bonding time too.
We'll be-
Yeah. It's not conducting.
We're not talking about
You're
anything,
just-
we're just having.
You're not
fun.
Yeah,
making any
exactly.
decisions,
Great.
so.
I think it'd be a great idea.
Okay,
Great idea.
yeah.
We're excited about 105.
Oh, I'll watch it.
Hey, come on, I
Yeah, so
believe it.
they
Yeah.
do current
Yeah.
wearing a costume.
Yeah,
Just FYI.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
I have so many costume ideas.
okay,
I already have my go-go girl outfit, so. My 60s go-go.
I have a 70s. Look at that. I got platforms. I'm ready. Look at that. Look at that. 20 decades. I'm ready to do 80s now.
I could do 80s.
Oh, man.
80s.
I was.
I hope we're doing
Jackson
experience
this
70.
year.
Yeah, we got costumes. Okay, cool. We got our costumes now.
We're here now.
Oh my god.
Final logistics at our October meeting,
Yeah.
but don't think about what you made.
We're
If there's
excited
anything
about
particular
this.
you want.
That was neat.
Okay,
I'll let them know we are for
so
sure.
that's a yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. The last one is, I did receive, from Commissioner Moreno her resignation.
Oh, okay,
So, yeah, she just is not able to.
Make it.
So she's, so at that point, that'll be then at least 3 seats up at the next.
When is that open?
The application period is open, I believe, later this month. The initial advertisement, and I believe the interviews will be scheduled for
November?
November, like the meeting in November, I think. And then selection would probably be first for the only December,
Okay.
so that's the kind of schedule, so.
The
That's.
end of this month,
yeah.
is there, it would be, is there a date you have? So that date for when those open
Or
or?
is it? No, I don't.
No,
That's fine. I
okay.
can find out. What I can do is email the commissioners, what's the specific date when we advertised.
Okay,
So, besides,
we could advertise it.
Yeah,
at
there
the,
was the other
Who
two.
signs that?
Alright,
Yours is that?
I think so. I think mine was just a year term.
Yeah, you just have to make sure that.
I think I was finished at someone's that was last.
Or the commissioners, there's part of round table at the same time. 'cause you
I
only-
think might be a name in
I
too,
think there's
yeah,
only like.
Those two.
yeah.
Come in, come in.
I'm literally going to the website, I'm like,
Overlapping orthodontic people that go to the art
Oh.
table and also our commissioners.
That's the only kind of caveat. So you
Yeah.
have to choose one means to not attend
Mhm.
if 3 are already present.
Yeah.
you're until the 28.
28.
2028, yeah, the 27.
The city's website has it, so.
Up 27 as well?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the seats are as seat that Commissioner McCormick has. And then there's the unfilled term that's ending that Teresa is in. So that would be a 4-year term, 4-year, and then there'll be a partial seat for what
4 year
remains on her term. That's 4 years.
Wow, there used to be 3.
No, so every year,
Ah.
4 years, there's 2 seats open, two,
That's, yeah.
and then there's 1 year where it's just 1.
Nice.
So.
Are they-
So that's.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're sick. Yeah. As good as it gets.
You're not even. Especially after with the letters, I don't even have to charge you, just the rest of them on.
I know, I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it for my comments.
Future agenda items?
Oh, do you have?
I mean, I think for the future agenda, oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't realize, so go.
Oh, no,
ahead.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
I forget.
Sorry, one more.
Hi, guys, boards and commissions, that's coming up in November, there was an email that was sent out to you all. If you have not RSVP'd already, please do so, or just let us know whether or not you're gonna be.
Is that because it's on the Gilroy email?
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I-
I'll look at that.
All
That's why
for,
we're bringing it up here. I figured that could have been the case. And so, yeah, if you guys, if you haven't had the opportunity quite yet to respond, please do. It's going to be held on here at the senior center, November 20th. It's a Thursday. This again, it's just a save the date that's been sent out, but it's a dinner, you get taken care of. Yeah, it's an appreciation dinner, right?
It's just for individuals, right?
Yeah. So, I'm sorry,
It's just.
Yeah, just for the commissioner. so
November what
no-
date?
No guests, yeah.
November 20th,
Nice.
a Thursday.
It's good enough to check with anyone.
But yeah, that's all I had there too.
All right, so I think we're good.
yeah, okay, future agenda item requests?
do we need to put fundraising again back on for a future request, or is that?
No, it'll be old
It's now
business.
gonna be static, so the Fort Love Gilroy and the fundraising will be an ongoing stuff.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
And we don't need anything agenda item wise for this event, right? We don't,
No, I might include a discussion. probably
just for us to update,
Just for logistics.
Okay, perfect.
Like I said, but there's no action.
okay,
Okay,
And staff will be like, we're gonna discuss it. That's what
Okay.
staff for.
okay, perfect, all right. Okay, we're gonna adjourn the meeting at 8:22 PM.
It's destroyed your average. Used to get an hour-long meeting.